Rise and shine, and we're coming to you live from the beautiful hills of Ibiaka, and of course, we are in Akwa Ibom State. Of course, we've been having several conversations here on Rise and Shine, political things happening here, fuel scarcity building up in most parts of the country. We hope that the federal government brings a solution to that. But yes, it's Lifestyle Friday and it's the festive period. What is happening most in this season is that people are traveling from their working areas back home to spend time with family. There's a lot of activities that mark this festive period, and it's Lifestyle Friday, and we'll be having a conversation. We look at the habits to avoid during the festive season. What are you doing right and what are you doing wrong? And just to have that conversation with us this morning, we have a lifestyle consultant in the person of Sunday Clement, who will be joining us to have this conversation this morning. Good morning, Sunday Clement. Thanks for joining the show.
Yes, good morning. Thank you for the opportunity to join you this morning.
How is Lagos State this morning? Is the holiday spirit building up in Lagos already?
Yeah, it's hustling and bustling. People going around, people shopping for the season and all that. So it's been quite busy here.
Okay, and the Hamatan as well. Has it gotten
Yeah.
to you?
And there's a lot of Christmas in the air with decorations
Oh
everywhere you
yeah.
go.
Oh,
So
Lagos has that attitude too. I thought it was a highbrow city for hustlers.
yes,
Okay, so
yes.
something I'd like for us to start from this morning is you are a lifestyle consultant. That is a new niche in terms of do. Being a lifestyle consultant, what is that like? What are the services you offer to people? Because I mean, we're talking lifestyle this morning and we're talking about habits, to observe or not to observe during the festive season. What is the role of a lifestyle consultant? Should people consider having, access and, leveraging on lifestyle consultants?
Okay. Okay, I would say that uh, in the spirit of the season, a lot of people are very excited and happy, and we should be, from the beginning of the year. It is by the mercy of God that we are all alive, and it's a time to celebrate. It's a time to reunite with family. It's a time to travel, and enjoy love company. So a lot of people travel from across the world, all coming back to Nigeria, unite their family and different kinds of celebration. Uh, uh, but this season is a time a lot of people fix their wedding or different kinds of family events and all that. But in the spirit of all it, a lot of people get carried away, and they begin to indulge in all sorts of unhealthy practices. So there are a lot of them we shared with this morning, uh, but maybe for the sake of time, that's the major ones.
Okay, so I don't think you've been able to, really answer the question I was trying to ask. She's saying that you're a lifestyle consultant. So, what are the functions of a lifestyle consultant? And should people begin to seek for advices or services of a lifestyle consultant? Let me just add this too. Knowing fully well the kind of country that we are in, all the excesses that we live on, and I think
Yes.
most importantly as well, the financial
Yeah.
constraints that a lot of Nigerians have.
Okay, thank you very much for that question. Around in part of the world, when you hear lifestyle, what comes to mind is fashion, and luxury and all that. But generally, uh, because of the new information coming to light in the world of medicine. And generally, people have come to the realization that prevention is key to a healthy life. So I'll start by talking about the function of lifestyle medicine. There's a branch of medicine which is referred to as lifestyle medicine.
Okay.
And I have certifications in lifestyle, which is everything that has to do with health in the aspect of prevention. So you can live a healthy lifestyle if you are well informed. And in this part of the world, most people end up coming down with one or two ailments or diseases just because they were not as informed as they should. So you can actually live your life without, coming down with a disease if you have the right information at your disposal. And today, people generally in this part of the world do not go to the hospital unless they have one or two signs or symptoms, which is not supposed to be the case. You shouldn't go see a doctor only when you have symptoms or signs. Sometimes it's good to see a doctor to prevent a disease from occurring. So we have looked at the kind of life of the modern man. The advent of technology has made life a lot easier, and as well as also negative impact on lifespan expectancy for people. For example, today it's difficult for people to have regular exercises because of the routine of a modern workplace. That's number one. Number two, the place is a lot more comfortable today, where people sit almost all day behind their desks or their computer, and eventually begin to result in cardiac-related problems because of excessive sitting or sedentary lifestyle. Unlike in the days where the work requires a lot of manual work with less of computer work. So all of these, as the advent of technology has actually altered the way at we function workplace and the way we work, and that is the essence of we coming into the picture to advise people. And by the way, for example, there's a new condition now, which was recently added by the NHIS of the UK, referred to as a phone addiction. A lot of people
Phone addiction,
yeah.
is now considered
Okay.
phone addiction is now added by the NHIS of the UK as a psychiatric problem.
Oh, wow.
A psychiatric problem. So now, in this part of the world, we might not see it as a problem, but is in the developed world, they've already cited that as a problem. And NHIS,
it's already a problem here, I'd like to believe.
Yes. So NHIS is now has added it as one of the conditions to be covered by insurance, because it has to first be recognized as a condition, a medical condition. So, but people are not even aware they are addicted. So the advent of technology is changing our lives. Is also bringing, in as much as it makes our life easier, it is important for people to come to that consciousness that, look, things are changing, the world is changing, how we get things done is becoming much more easier, and it is very, very important for us to have information, to be very deliberate, not fall victim of the negative side of this new lifestyle.
Okay, now the point is, do people even, recognize these services and even ask for it?
I would say no. I would say no. But I would say it is getting better. People are becoming much aware because of the access to Google, access to Google. Even before uh, people nowadays go to their doctor, they can just browse on their various symptoms and they begin to have an idea. So sometimes people even go to see doctors just to confirm what they already suspected could be wrong. So people are becoming much more aware, and because Google tell you if likely this is going to be the cause, uh, these are going to be some of the preventive measures that you will need to take. So the information is out there. People are becoming more aware of and taking their health more seriously. Before, when people don't for don't go for medical checkup, the medical checkup is only for people that are wealthy. But gradually now, people are beginning to appreciate the importance of going for a routine checkup and the importance of it, so that they don't come down with a particular ailment. So I think we will get there. In developed world, people seek the help of lifestyle consultants in order to keep fit, in order to be healthy and to avoid falling sick. But gradually, I believe we will get there. Currently in Nigeria, there's no legislature or bill that is put out there to help Nigerians, because we are not comprehensively insured. Most Nigerians, I think we are less than 5% that have insurance in Nigeria. So I believe when the number begins to grow, then maybe it can be part of, because in developed world, it is compulsory for you to have a medical checkup annually. Because most of the citizens are insured anyway, and they are entitled to that. But in this part of the world, people get to have their healthcare out of pocket. So, and healthcare is usually very expensive as well.
I also
So,
want to think that
with time, I believe it will improve, yeah.
I also want to think that, getting the services of a lifestyle consultant, I like the fact that it's more like preventive medicine. And when you talk about
Yes, it
preventive
is.
medicine, I think it's even more cheaper than, falling sick and then trying to like cure yourself of your illness. But when we even look at the economy that we are in right now, and even the attitude of a lot of Nigerians of over-the-counter treatments, you begin to wonder, maybe lifestyle consultancy or seeking the services of a lifestyle consultant is for the elites and not for the common Nigerian.
Yeah, that is the general belief, because there's no much awareness. There's no much awareness that, look, it's important for, it's not a clear cut field in this part of the world. It's not a clear cut field. You've got to, because a lifestyle consultant prescribe to you medication, because we're not legally allowed to do that. But we can make reference to
Okay.
us, and you know what it is. If you're taking counseling, for example, and at the end of your counseling, you're just asked to do certain things without a particular medication, you don't feel you've actually gotten value for what you pay. Yeah, unless you probably take some tablets and all that. So people have not really come to appreciate the importance of seeking counseling and only getting information only for them to be asked to go home. So I believe over time, this will change and this will improve.
We just hope
Okay.
so.
All right. So let's get into the belly of today's conversation. We are looking at habits to avoid during the festive season. We know that when it comes to this time, some of the things that we are laden with is overeating. Yeah, we want to eat everything. We want to pay, visit different homes around the area and eat everything we find on the table there. So what are some of the habits that you know that are customary to the festive season, and what's the way out?
Okay. This is a period where, people visit friends. They visit friends, they visit family members, and all that. What is usually common in this is that people take a lot of food. You visit people, and our culture demands that you shouldn't reject food.
In the house
So,
of
for
your guests.
example, yeah, so people tend to taking a lot of excessive food. They tend to take a lot of excessive calories, which they would not have the room to consume, and they store all of these kind of calories, and eventually they convert them to fats. And so people tend to gain weight in this season generally. Just starting with that's number one, and it is important for people to take note of this and to avoid excessive eating. And generally in this season, I think rice is a starchy food, which is synonymous with Christmas. If you have not been served rice, and chicken in this time, Christmas is not yet complete. You know, so it is important for people as possible to reduce excessive intake of rice, excessive intake of starch at this period in time, because they tend to consume a lot of calories, and they get to store a lot of fat at the end of the day. Now, the second part is people also consume a lot of fried foods. People tend to consume a lot of fried foods, fried chicken, fried turkey, and all that. Now, the problem is not in itself the fried chicken. The problem is the kind of vegetables
Okay.
which are available in the market, which are used to fry some of these food. Um, Most of these vegetables that we find in the market today, they've got 100% cholesterol-free labels on them, but it's difficult to tell if it's the vegetable oil that is 100% cholesterol free, or it's just the label that is on the bottle. And people tend to consume, and you don't have control. In fact, most people that don't like to eat outside, it becomes very difficult for them to avoid eating outside in this season. You can probably be sure of what kind of vegetable oil you are using to fry your foods, but when you are visiting someone, it's very difficult to tell.
Okay,
And when
okay.
you
Let
consume a
me
lot
take you
of bad
back a little bit.
cholesterol,
Let me take you back a little bit, Mr. Clement. Now,
yeah,
before we even
yeah,
talk about the kind of vegetable oil that we are supposed to, use in frying our food this period, of course, you said it has to be cholesterol free. But let's talk about calories now. You made mention of calories and the fact that a lot of people, because of, you don't have to reject food where you get to visit someone, there's going to be a lot of calorie intake. I know that you had talked about the issue of calorie, in our subsequent conversations before now, but I think you just have to reiterate on that so that people will understand the amount of calories that the body needs and when it becomes too much for the body as well.
okay, okay. Generally, a functioning physiological man doesn't need more than 1,500, 1,600 calories of more than 1,500 calories in a day. You know, you don't need more than that to function, to get all your body functioning well. But during this season of festivity, people tend to consume more. For example, some people can visit a friend, and just that meal alone has about 6,000 calories, contains 6,000 calories. So, since it's difficult for someone to be able to measure what is the calories of the food you are being served, I think a way to eat that is to just eat in small
In
bits.
small portions.
You know, uh, in small portions. Yes, very small portions. Just tell them, look, I am full, but so that it doesn't sound like I'm upset or don't love you or something. I think I'll just prefer very small food, because you probably have other stopovers, on the way. You probably need to visit some other two. You still have maybe 2, 3 more stops, and there's a tendency that you're also going to be served food as well. So you have, when you end up consuming, for example, 6,000 calories at a go, or maybe 8,000 or 10,000 calories in a day, and you're only able to burn maybe 1,500. The remaining the remaining glucose will be converted into fat. It will be converted into glycogen and stored in the body. It will be stored in the body. Now, the next day, you probably eat the same thing. Then you keep building all of these fats in the system. And, it leads to so many things that time may not allow us to begin to
delve into that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are looking a lot into calorie related issues and all of that, what we should do right in terms of food. So you were going to tell us about the oils that we should use in frying, because sometimes we do not know, and in all honesty, Clement, everything is expensive. The
Yes.
low cholesterol oils are very expensive for some people, and it's just easier to go and turn the one that comes in the white jerry can and they sell it in mudu and milk containers for you. So how do you think we can balance out frying with other oils if people cannot afford non-cholesterol oil?
Well, it's difficult. We're talking about what happens. We're looking at in the light of what happens in the season. You're visiting several homes. You're not sure what kind of vegetable oil they use. They're frying. So, for example, you can avoid frying the food in the first place if it's something you have control over. You understand? You probably just take the chicken without frying it, or you probably make a stew chicken without the vegetable, or you probably fry with very little quantity, or you try and get air frying. There's air frying,
Okay.
which you don't really require so much of oil for. But when you are visiting a family friend, you can't tell what is their economy and what's the source of their vegetable oil. You can't tell. So I think it's to completely avoid taking fried food, and we need to begin to realize that as we grow older, we need to cut down on fried foods, because fried foods are not healthy, especially for adults. They are not healthy at all for adults. It begins to eventually clog up arteries, and eventually this is what leads to cardiac related problems as well as stroke.
So they even fried yam and fried potatoes. Fried yam and fried potatoes get in the same way.
It is better to go with cooked food. You want to make use of yam and all these chips and all this, you probably go with cooked food. That is much more healthier.
Okay, so aside from eating now, that is a related issue when we talk about Yuletide season and visitations of people, what other attitude or what other don'ts should we not do this period? I know that I think I wanted to even bring the issue of money, because money is also lifestyle as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about money too, and any other don'ts that we shouldn't do this period.
Okay. I'm talking in context of health. So that's why I didn't mention money.
Okay.
But alcohol is another common way of celebrating the season.
Yes.
In fact, some people they tend to people that take alcohol, they tend to drink more this season, especially those who like to uh they try to do restitution. Is it restitution? You call it when you're planning to stop something in next new year. You want to what is it called now? Eh? In their New Year resolution, there are a lot of people the fake New Year resolution.
I like that you added the fake.
Yeah, so they tend to go, what's it called now? Extreme in
Okay.
December period, because they are going to probably stop taking alcohol from 1st of January next year, the following year. So they tend to take so much of it, and sometimes it leads to liver cirrhosis. They get to cast their kidneys, and different kinds of problem results in that. And some people don't even take alcohol, that often. But during the festive season, they tend to take more because they'll be visiting friends and they will be taking a lot of alcohol. Another thing is people tend to take a lot of sugary drinks,
Okay.
excessive sugary drinks. Coca, I don't want to mention the brands now.
Yes.
You have a lot of
Carbonated drinks.
non-alcoholic beverages, carbonated drinks. They tend to take a lot of them. And some people think, some people believe that I don't take so much of sugary drinks. I take the ones that are not so sugary. But unfortunately, the drinks that have lemon flavor, they actually contain more sugar than the ones that are not as that taste more sugary. Because the raw material for those beverages that are of lime flavor or lemon flavor, they are taste, and in order for them to have it, to give it a marketable taste, they needed to load them with more sugar. But though you may not taste so much, it may not taste as sugary as the one with the baseline of water, but they actually contain more sugar. So people tend to consume so much of these non-beverage drinks during this time. So, and people tend to smoke a lot as well, because of the same fake resolution for the year. So people enjoy all sort of things that they will say, what, by January 1st, I'm a totally brand new man. But just give them some yeah, they are back to their old habits. And the damage they would have caused in the prior months would be so much that they'll be dealing with that in some couple of years to come.
Okay.
So when it comes to money, I think generally people should understand that there will always be Christmas, and they've celebrated Christmas in the past, and it's not about the magnitude or the scale of the celebration, but just to be happy with yourself and be contented with what you have. You understand? Because people tend to go to extreme. They put themselves under a lot of undue stress. Chicken is very expensive now. Turkey is expensive. Goat is expensive. People tend to say, I must have to get this done, and they put themselves on extreme stress that would result in permanent, semi-permanent damage to their system. So I think people should just take it easy and do the best they can. What is affordable to them is acceptable. As long as it's acceptable and they are happy, I think that should be fine.
Okay.
That will be able to avoid them from going to the extreme in order to get money and get themselves into put themselves into undue.
Okay, so just one last question before we wrap up, and we let you go this morning. Talk a little bit about travel and logistics. You could, as a lifestyle consultant, what should we be looking out for if we are traveling, if we want to travel? People are looking at going for vacation in other parts of the country. Do we have sites in Nigeria that we can do this within our means? So just give us some thoughts about travels and logistics for this
Okay.
season.
Okay, I think from my aspect, traveling, people are going to be traveling a lot. People should just be mindful of what they buy. There are a lot of hawkers. This is the time a lot of people try to make very ungodly, try to make
Gains.
money products that are not registered by governments or by relevant regulatory agencies. They tend to package them and they sell them in traffic. They sell them to unsuspected, commuters that are traveling. You are traveling, you portable, and you tend to buy things that just consume. You don't know what they contain. You don't know if they are expired. So people should be mindful. If you are traveling, you can get food, or for some people, I think it's preferred not to eat at all. I think it's preferable not to eat at all, and you can take more water. You can take more water during your trip, depending on how long the trip is. So I think generally, I would advise people to be mindful of what they consume while they are on their various journeys.
Okay,
And
thank you
of course,
so much.
people shouldn't. I've mentioned that before. People shouldn't drink because, of course, everybody should know that when you're high or you're taking a lot of or alcohol, you shouldn't drive. It is just illegal to do that. From any point of view, it's also not good at all.
Okay, thank you so much, Sunday Clements, lifestyle consultant. It's always a pleasure having you on the show.